There were many things that I remember about Mary. She never adhered to a typical workday. She would call, often late at night or early in the morning, and frequently on the weekends, full of ideas. A new conference to be convened, a new publication to be written, a new grant opportunity to take advantage of. And yet, she never asked you to do anything that she wouldn't be willing to do herself. One time she called, and this was in preparation for a large celebration in Alabama honoring her and the Geropsychiatric Hospital that was named in her honor. And she said to me, and this was again an early Sunday morning event, I want you to put together a program on caregivers, and I want you to get the leaders in the field. And it was relatively short notice. But I asked, and every single one of them agreed to do it in honor of Mary. That was the kind of power and influence she had over people. She always delivered. Up until her death, she always delivered. We were working on a book chapter for a volume I was co-editing. She was really too ill to be continuing on this. I said to her, Mary, and she would call me and she would talk, barely able to get her breath and had to pause frequently on the phone. I said, I'll find somebody else to write this chapter. You don't have to do it. No, she said, it's very important for me to be able to do this. Now, after her death, again, I had wonderful support to finish the chapter from my colleagues at Duke, Kathy Gillis, who may be in the room, and Linda Davis, who actually finished the chapter for her, but her name is on that chapter, and that's just the way she wanted it. She also was very influential. If she would find out, for example, that I was at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, and Linda Davis at that time, Lou Bergio and I were co-mentoring her on a K Award. If she found out I was there, she would call, and this is an exact quote. She was living in Tuscaloosa at the time. I expect you'll be here for dinner tonight. And I would say, well, Mary, I'm down here, we're wallowing in data, we're doing this, we're doing that. And she would say, I'll make the arrangements. And she made the arrangements. Transportation was arranged. When I got to her home, she had home cooked a meal of collard greens and other things, and we stacks of work on the floor, clocks going off all different directions, but that was just Mary. Communication was very important to her, and she continued to communicate with people all of her life. Despite incredible obstacles that those of you who were here for her presentation know, just insurmountable to most people. She never had any self-pity. And I am reminded when I think about her triumphs of a quotation I love from Gloria Steinem that says, a river of truth ends at a dam of bias. Truth floods and moves on. And that was certainly the case with Mary. So one of my former students gave me a subscription to O Magazine because they thought I was living too unbalanced a life and reading journals. And so the very first issue that arrived had a section on 31 ways of looking at power. And so I was interested in this, and I excerpted some of these that I thought applied to Mary. The power of loud, the power to speak up and speak out. She would send me a copy of every single congressional testimony that she made, and there were many, women's health issues, minority health, a broad spectrum of issues, before nurses were really into policy, or even were thinking about doing congressional testimony. She modeled that and communicated it. The power of the crusade. She was a tireless advocate for health care and social justice. The power of ambition. Despite incredible obstacles, as I mentioned before, Mary wanted a place at the table. She wanted to be successful, to be involved, to use her energy and her intellect to truly make a difference, and she did. The power of fearlessness. Real power is usually unspectacular. It's a setting aside of fear that allows the free flow of love, and that's certainly what Mary did. The power of telling your story, and Mary did that through this lectureship, through videos, through articles, and many other ways. She told her incredible story. Now, the one power in this group of 31, and I'm not going to chronicle all of them, that Mary, I felt, was unable to do, or chose not to do, was the power of letting go. She never wanted to give up. Now, she was always an editor. I never sent her a single document, and we exchanged many that she didn't edit. And this one is modest. I mean, there are some where you couldn't even see that there was a typewritten thing. But always in the best spirit of making it better. Or as she called it, I've enhanced your article a bit, dear. She was the consummate wordsmith. When I had the privilege, or you may have been involved in this, of writing one of her letters to nominate her to be a AAN Living Legend Award, she edited that.